Good morning, rise and shine. It is Sunday, August 7th, I believe, day 219. We're in the book of Luke, chapter 6, and I'm going to take a little bit of a Sabbath day today and kind of been exercising a lot lately. So I am just taking it easy on a Sunday morning. I hope you listen to your body and do what you need to do as well. But I want to show you sunrise. She's coming over the treetops. Beautiful purple and peach colors going on, blue, ombre, like that's that gradient that we get. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'll keep trying to show that to you. I'm in my husband's side of the deck, the grilling, the grilling deck. Anyway, Luke 6. Boy, there's a lot here, as there usually is. Like, I feel like I say that every day, because I probably do. But the message that was getting to me and the reminder, and this has been a something that has really shifted my life in the last few years. And I always thought that I was good at doing this, but I wasn't quite as good as I thought I was. And that is big picture thinking. And doing that really intentionally every day, because it is so easy to think that you've got it. You've got a few big things on the horizon. Maybe you're good at saving for retirement. Maybe you're good at it in general, like I was. Like I was, had some good things going on. I might turn around this way just so you all can see the sun rising there. Oh, look at, isn't that pretty? This is what Kentucky's known for. This green grass, these 4-board, we call them horse fences. I don't have any horses here, but it's still beautiful. This is the rolling green hills and the horse fences that we in the bluegrass are known for. It's beautiful. Oh, you know what? For those of you on camera, for those of you not on camera, go find me on camera. Look at that. I'm lucky to live. I'll ignore the garbage cans. My front yard is a golf course, which is funny because I'm not a golfer, at least not yet. I grew up in a family of golfers. That's probably why I don't want to golf. Because those of you that know golfers, they're a little obsessed. And I don't know, I guess that was my way of rebelling. Anyway, back to Luke 6 and big picture thinking. And Jesus gives us a lot of examples here. He starts off with a couple of stories on the Sabbath, like eating on the Sabbath, feeding himself and his companions. They're hungry, walking through a grain field and popping off some grains. And he even goes back and gives an example of David, and another one where he heals on the Sabbath. And the religious leaders are like, they're mad. They're like, that is not allowed. You're not following the rules. And he is like, don't you understand the point of the Sabbath? Like, I am the Lord. Like, I am Lord of even the Sabbath. The Sabbath is for man, for the Lord, and for man, not the other way around. Man was not made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man. And when we take it to the extreme like that, which when you do that, you get out of big picture thinking and you're only in the here and now. Like, I'm following the rules. I'm not thinking about the bigger picture of somebody going hungry or somebody not being healed. The rules trump the bigger picture of what's happening in somebody's life and hunger and like good we're called to be good before we're called to be good rule followers. We're called to be good and kind and loving, not just good rule followers. And when we get down in the weeds and we're focused only on the rules, we forget about humanity, about love. And we're very selfish. We're thinking only about ourselves. And he goes on to give examples of that. He goes into the Beatitudes, which is all about loving your, which is all about, excuse me for a minute, I wanted to gather my thoughts there for a second. The Beatitudes are when he is talking about, the poor will one day be rich, the hungry will one day be fed, those that are getting theirs now, that are chasing happiness, wealth, all of those things, that in the bigger picture, they're going to be the ones that are, unhappy. When you're focused on the here and now and just getting yours and just how you feel right now, and you're not keeping the bigger picture in mind, you lose in the end. When you are willing to suffer in the here and now, and you understand the bigger picture, and you choose love and the bigger picture over your immediate or short-term comfort, you will be blessed in the end. So he's coming and turning the world upside down. Not really, though. Like, this stuff really works. It's practical. Again, but it takes a lot of intention, a lot of quiet time, a lot of being able to catch yourself in the moment, see what you're doing, and that you're getting caught up, and the ego is getting caught up, and being short-sighted, and you're making decisions based on that, versus, oh, wait a minute, what's happening here? Oh, I've got to think bigger picture. And he gives several other examples of being a hypocrite, not judging, not loving your enemy. These are all hard things to do. And basically what he's saying, because we put energy out into the world, and whatever energy we put out into the world, it's like that child saying, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Like, I'm rubber, you're glue. This is real stuff. It's science. We send out real energy in the form of our feelings towards other people. And guess what? That energy will eventually cycle back to us. So we better be real careful. And as humans, also, we are likely to mess up. And don't we want to be forgiven and loved, even in the moments and on the days when we mess up and we get it wrong? And if we are holding others to a standard that we can't even live up to ourselves, hello, problem. But this requires big picture thinking. Always seeing people for what they do, not who they, and not letting what they do define who they are. That's hard to do sometimes. And he's telling us, I know this is hard to do. I know I'm asking you to do something really hard, but I'm asking you to be like me and trying to tap into my love, and you've got access to it. With man, it's impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And to love our enemies, and even those who do awful, evil things, like what? No. But he asks us anyway. If you get slapped, turn the other cheek. If somebody takes something from you, let them have it. Don't try to get it back. If somebody who you know comes and asks you for money and you know they can't pay you back, lend it anyway. Yes, because this is what he's doing for us. And he wants us to try to live, again, for the bigger picture. And when you don't do that, you're stuck in the here and the now and what's mine, and that's not right, and that's not the rules, and blah, 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 blah. And we become like the Pharisees and the religious teachers. And that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'm not sure I'm there yet. I'm practicing now and then. And now loving doesn't mean you have to like people. So there is a good distinction for you. Love, and like God's kind of love and forgiveness, is not, I also have to like you and just let you trample all over me. No, we're called to also love ourselves. Remember, love your neighbors as yourself. And love also wants to be honored, wants to be respected. So it isn't going out there intentionally just going, how can somebody hurt me? Let me just be hurt. No, that's not what he's saying. And you don't have to go around liking everybody. Love is a different thing, because we see plenty of examples of Jesus not liking people and not helping everybody either. So this is where the wisdom and discernment, knowing the word, being tapped into the Holy Spirit, that will help you make these types of decisions, again, is a bigger picture concept of living, not like those of you on camera. I'm being very like with my hands today. And then not judging others. Again, that's that energy. Remember, there's going to be a day and a time when you mess up, and don't you want forgiveness? Don't you want to not be judged? Don't you want that not to be held against you forevermore? And this is tough. We are good at chips on our shoulders. We've got strong shoulders, us humans. We walk around with lots of chips and ready to beat people over the head with them. Keeping records. We're good record keepers. And sometimes we even hold on to that, like, I'll be nice for now, but then somebody's gone a step too far, and I call it the scroll comes out. And then all the wrongs, like blah, 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 blah. And we like to beat people over the head with their past, even though we've told them we've forgiven them. We hold on to all that stuff. I know. It's hard work. That ego, again, it wants to protect and defend, and it wants its whatever now. It wants it now. It's concerned with the here and now and today, and not the bigger picture. So it takes real intention and attention and time and a lot of practice, because the ego reacts so fast. Sometimes it's out of the gate like a Kentucky racehorse before we even know it. Like, the gates are open, they're off to the races. But we've got to be able to like catch ourselves in that moment, to pause and go, oh. And this takes a lot of even forethought and pre-deciding to love others, and to even be on the lookout for being wronged, just for an opportunity to think big picture and practice these things. And this is where being a hypocrite, like when you've got the log in your own eye, but you're walking around going, finger wagging, looking at other people with judgment. I've talked about that a lot recently. God has really, really opened my eyes personally. I have spent a lot of my life trying to be a good girl, people pleaser. And just the paradox of that is that when I give myself that label, just by the very nature of it, I have to go around and make other people bad. I'm not making everybody bad, but definitely there has to be a judgment there. If I am judging and trying to even be good, I've had to have a definition of what that is. And therefore I have a definition, and I'm walking around using it out in the world of what is not so good or bad. And God's economy does not work that way. And God gives opportunity and possibility for all people to be redeemed and turned around. We are not what we do. Even some of the most horrible, I think of some of the horrible, evil things that people have done. And even those people have a chance for redemption. And even when I'm saying it, I'm hearing myself with judgment say, those people who did those acts. And that is not necessarily who they are. And that's a tough one for us. Then it talks about the building of a house on solid rock, a solid foundation. And this is, again, big picture thinking. If you're only building a life on the day-to-day and what makes me happy today, that creates chaos and something that is on sand. Because that, again, been there, done that. I've tried it. and it was a house of cards. And that eventually, because what you're doing, of course, is you want the big picture, security, the feelings and all of that, and then you start chasing and trying to fulfill it with other coping strategies. And maybe you're doing exactly what I did. Maybe you're over drinking, overeating, over Netflixing, you're overdoing something, which means you're probably living at least part of your life in a very short-sighted, small picture way, from a position of fearing man, which is people pleasing. Or maybe you are, that's not completely true. That is a form of it, but there's other forms too. There are people that have very rigid boundaries and have isolated themselves. Still, fear is showing up there. And that is the foundational message of the Bible overall. Love over fear. And perfect love, God's love, casts out fear. It's big stuff, guys. And big picture thinking, when you can slow your life down enough and do this work and really look at your life, really take a full inventory, look at your identity. Where is your identity based in? How are you showing up in life? What are the results? This requires like some brutal, hardcore honesty. It's not going to work any other way. And then looking at what you really want in the big picture, in which most of us, I think, want peace. We want to feel at home. We want to have good, healthy relationships, love, all of those things. But a lot of the things that we're actually doing in our lives are very short-sighted, and in the bigger picture of things, causing the opposite. So a lot of what you really want in the big picture, in the big scheme of life, causes you to make choices in the day-to-day that may be very hard, very uncomfortable, very unnatural, very against the ego. They're ego destroying. This is resurrection stuff right here. You have to die to yourself in order to be raised into a new way of living. And this is that bigger picture, eternity way of life. That what we're doing here on earth is only a small portion of our overall life. It is not the end all be all. And even if it is, because ultimately we don't know for sure. I mean, I think I know for sure. But even if I'm wrong, living from the big picture is actually what brings satisfaction, peace, contentment, fulfillment, even in this earthly life. It brings heaven on earth. But on the day-to-day, you may have to go through what feels like hell in order to have that laying your head down on the pillow at night with peace. Often requires voluntarily, going to a place of dying to yourself daily and putting some of those short-term, small picture ways of living in their grave. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, wherever it is. If it's a Sunday and a Sabbath for you, I hope you have great rest. And look at that beautiful sunrise back there. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, rise and shine. We were in Luke 6 today with some big picture thinking. And it's a good thing to spend some time with and take an inventory of how you're living your life. And if you could expand and broaden your horizons and choose to turn the other cheek, do some things that are really hard, love people that don't deserve it, and make the world a better place. And you will make your world a better place. All right, rise and shine.